Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we're so happy to have you. I'm here with my guest Owen.
Hi everyone, it's Owen.
So welcome back. So we're doing a live stream. This is for a simulated event. We will put all the link and everything to the description in the description below. So you will be able to join the Discord group and see all the poll, the data, and all that mumble jumble all later on. So anyway, sit back, relax, and we are going to watch a simulated primary results as it rolled out. So let's talk. So let's update everybody on what happened previously. Let's talk about the most recent updated result that came out a couple of days ago with Leonard Kim versus Rainbow Dash. So let's talk about it. Okay, so I think it was only Missouri, right?
It was two southern states.
So it was Louisiana and Missouri then.
Yes.
So let's talk about the winning Rainbow Dash winning in Louisiana by 63.2%, gaining 32 delegates to Leonard Kim 31.6%, with only gaining 16 delegates, with Teddy Roosevelt out of a mere 5.2%. What do you think happened in this state? It kind of followed the traditional trend as we expected, right?
Yeah, I think everyone expected Louisiana to go for Dash because
the biggest shocker, speaking of Louisiana, like what you just said, being one of the expected results, we have the state of Missouri, and that was a state that Leonard Kim won by 10 points. What do you think happened here?
Well, the people in Missouri voted and they voted for Leo. We can't really say anything about that. It's really the people voted and
uncommitted vote there. The uncommitted vote is 10% exactly, which means that if those who voted uncommitted voted for Rainbow Dash, it would have been a tie.
Well, most of those uncommitted voters was Republicans because they was able to vote. So the people still voted and they voted who they wanted.
Okay.
And uncommitted just got the Republican votes.
Well, how do you? And you know what's really interesting too, when you look at the how people respond to how Rainbow Dash is and everything. There's been some quiet sentiment that people are uneasy with the idea of having a furry as a potential presidential contender for the Democratic Party, especially on the Republican Party side. They do not want a furry in positions of power. What do you think this may affect Dash's ability to win in November?
Well, I think realistically, Dash could win. Well, anybody has a will win. It's really a 50-50 in politics, but most likely anybody can win. It's up to the voters to really decide about that.
Oh, absolutely, and I agree with you, because like when there's polling data, you look at the polling data, back in 2024, it consistently showed a consistent trend on who was more likely to win, but that only is a small sample of a larger picture. Back in 2020, we had more than 100 people vote in one election. In the second election in 2024, we have about roughly, I think, 75 people voting in terms of turnout. And then you go into 2028, you don't know what that turnout level is going to look like. But what's going to be really interesting to see is, can Lewis and Maya hold on? And will those who aren't really well known and interested in voting until the general election, are they going to vote Lewis and Maya? Are they going to vote Rainbow Dash, assuming Rainbow Dash is going to be the presumptive Democratic nominee? We'll find it out whether or not that's happened tonight. And not only that, is there going to be a scenario in which we see a possibility that those people don't like Leonard Kim or Rainbow Dash at the top of the Democratic ticket? They don't like Lewis and Maya because Lewis and Maya is a little bit inactive. And then you have a scenario where James Adele looks the most appealing because people see James Adele as a protest vote rather than a candidate that they support. What is your stance on this?
Well, I think mostly Dash can win, and in a scenario that people don't like the Democrat or Republican, then James Adele might have a shot. It's really up to what they decide and the results. We never know until the day comes, and it will be really more harder to predict when it's still not that close away or like a day away. It's up to the people, and we will find out general election day.
Right. And so Rainbow Dash said that they do not plan to run for re-election. And so the Lenard Kim campaign is going to be honing down on this topic of that, well, why are you voting for Rainbow Dash? Rainbow Dash is not committed to the Democratic Party, does not want or even plan to run in the future, basically putting the party in a position where the incumbent is not running. And that could be a problem for the next election cycle. Do you think that Democrats tonight should be voting for Rainbow Dash because Rainbow Dash is not promising to run for a second term, basically potentially giving the White House to the Republicans in 2032, assuming that she wins in 2028?
Well, I can't really tell people what to do, but mostly it's really Dash's decision if she wants to actually run a second term, and if she only runs one term. I still think we doing actually very well without the incumbent factor in this election, where we have a good shot of winning. That could actually show for next election without an incumbent.
Well, is it possible that in a scenario in which the president who is term limited, who won by a landslide margin in the most recent election, the people who are in a position of power of the same party have a tendency to win off the margin of the term limited president? A great example would be Ronald Reagan in 1984, and then George H.W. Bush in senior in 1988. Do you think we might see a replica of that come 2028? That there's a possibility that whoever the Democratic nominee is come this November, that they will be winning off the margin of the former president, or will be soon to be former president?
Well, I think Chris was a really one-time person. I don't really think that any Democrat in their right mind that could replicate Chris. And
Well, nobody's saying that they could replicate it because George H.W. Bush couldn't replicate the margin that Ronald Reagan got in 1984. But yet again, he was able to maintain some of that support that Ronald Reagan got in 1984. It ended up leading to a probability of them losing the White House in 1992 to Bill Clinton with Ross Perot, the third party on the ticket. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is that no, he's not going to replicate the margin. But what I'm saying is that the support there might be just enough to be able to hand them the White House for another 4 years. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think really I think that is a little bit true, but not fully.
Why? Can you
Well,
explain that?
Well, see, a lot of people lose Chris' name to get votes in the primary, and most of the time it doesn't work, except Dash and Leo. And Leo has Chris as a VP. Most of the people who actually like Chris still not voting Leo, but would probably vote Leo because only Chris as the vice president, because more people like Chris than Leo. And I think most of the people voting for Leo people voting for someone else would come to Leo only because of the president being the vice president.
Right, it would make sense though too because there's a high probability that any president who assumed the office of the presidency could die while serving out his term, which means the vice president will have to finish the term for them.
Yeah.
So there is that probability there. There is no disregard in terms of whether or not a president or not can die while in office. However, there will be a rule that I will put up for a staff vote that the president, whoever is elected president in the first term, cannot die. So let's say the spinning wheel says that, oh, they die. Well, we're not going to allow it to happen until they choose to run for a second term. Then we can make that probability happen only because we want to be fair to them and make it possible that they were able to at least be president in the sober, if that makes any sense. I think that seems pretty fair.
Yeah. I think it's failed too, and yeah, I think it's failed. Yeah.
Okay, good. So speaking on that, we have Rainbow Dash, who's literally saying that this is slander, that this is lies from Tina, which is not true, by the way. I literally messaged out to the Rainbow Dash and asking her, "Well, do you plan to run for re-election?" And Rainbow Dash didn't answer. And then I pinned her again. I said, "Do you plan to run for re-election?" Did not answer. What that tells you already that Rainbow Dash doesn't have the ability or the intention to run again. Because if she really wanted to run, most people you ask, like even Lewis and Mike, trying to run for 2 terms and you ask Rainbow Dash what is her intention beyond 2028, her answer is nothing. And I think that is an answer in itself. The silence means everything, even when you don't say anything. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, I actually disagree with you about actually asking Rainbow Dash, because I did ask Dash that question, and
Okay, what did she say?
I don't know.
Oh my God, you don't know what she's saying? Okay, then continue. Continue to tell me what you were going to say.
No. She said, I don't know.
Oh my God. That's literally exactly what I just said. That's literally the exact words that I just said, is that silence mean everything. Because they don't know where they're going beyond 2028. So how can a Democrat or anybody vote for Rainbow Dash knowing that Rainbow Dash doesn't even have a plan beyond 2028? Like, what is Rainbow Dash going to do if she was to become president? Like, what would she do? She hasn't laid out any sort of policy stance in anything that she would do if she was to be president. Like, what will Rainbow Dash do? That's what I want to know as a reporter. What will Rainbow Dash do as president? Right now, we know what Louis Amaya is going to do. He made that very clear what he wants to do. But when it comes to the Dash campaign, they're nowhere to be found. And that's going to be interesting to ask come the interview. I'm going to ask Rainbow Dash straight up, and I'm going to say, where do you stand on these policies, and where do you plan to go beyond 2028 if you were to become the president? Owen?
Yeah.
Are you not going to respond to that? We're having a conversation.
Wait, I am actually I can't talk because something went into the laptop space. A flying bug. I need to kill it. I have to be mute.
Okay, I'll give you time to kill it. No problem. So anyway, we're going to talk about the. Okay, well, let's talk about the GOP primary. I think this is going to be really interesting to see how the results played out. Because when you compare it to the past GOP presidential primary, we're going to go here because this is where all the data is. Right, let's go to past midterm. Okay, here are the primary results. We had back in 2020, we had this type of map, right? We had Donald Reagan, right, winning 36.2% of the popular vote in 2020 for the presidential, right? Then come the next election cycle, right? You have the Republican in 2024, right? We have Skylar B. Bennett only winning 36.8% of the popular vote in the Republican primary. Very contested. They didn't have a coalesced support. Then you go down here into 2028, and you see Louis Amaya with 60.3% of the support. What this tells you already is that the Republican Party have unified for one specific candidate. But when it comes to the Democrats, though, they are experiencing the same story. What is going on here? Hold on, Mike. Sorry, guys. They are experiencing the same story that the Republicans are having. So let's take a look at that now. Let's look at the Democratic primary, right? So here you have the 2020 result for the Democratic primary. We have the incumbent president winning for his first Democratic primary with 62.2% of the popular vote. Come 2024, he won the popular vote in the Democratic primary in 2024 with 84.7% of the popular vote. When you look at the most recent Democratic popular vote here, you have exactly 43.5% of the popular vote going to Rainbow Dash, but only 38.6% of the popular vote going to Lenard Kim. What this tells you already that the party in the Democratic Party is fractured. And because it's fractured, it might be a key indicator of how well the candidate will perform in the general election. Now, this is our third presidential election. It's too early to make that determination. We need at least 3 more presidential elections before we can say for definitive factor whether or not the way a candidate performs in their primary when it comes to the popular vote, whether or not that would affect how they perform come the general election. You know what I mean? So let's go and talk about the new result. You have Connecticut. So let's take a look and see who won the state of Connecticut. I feel like it's Illinois state for some reason. I don't know why. I just feel like he might have won that. But it's probably going to be Rainbow Gas. Like, that's the way to go. Yeah, okay, so I was way off. So we can make the official projection here out of the state of Connecticut. Oops. Out of the state of Connecticut, that Rainbow Dash won Connecticut's 38 delegates, it was 60% of the popular vote, with Lenard Kim at 35%, with 22% of the delegates, 22 delegates going to Lenard Kim, with 5% going to uncommitted and 0 going to Teddy Roosevelt. So this is not a shocker tonight, but nonetheless, it is expected of the Rainbow Dash campaign. Rainbow Dash has been expected to win across the most majority of the United States. I mean, he was in the polls, leading well beyond the Democratic primary, but it has narrowed a bit. So when you look at the server Discord primary polling, let's pull it up here right now, and you ask, who would you be voting for in the 2028 Democratic presidential primary? You have Rainbow Dash at 43%, to Lenard Kim at 29%, to Teddy Roosevelt at 18%, and 11% choosing uncommitted. The way the popular vote's going right now, you definitely see that Rainbow Dash is holding her support steady at 43%. When it comes to Lenard Kim, he's overperforming the early poll, which means that there are hidden voters who don't want to admit to polling aggregates that they are voting for Lenard Kim. So Lenard Kim is overperforming polls, while you look at Teddy Roosevelt is also overperforming polls because he only gets 2.7% of popular vote in the Democratic primary. So you have the uncommitted vote, which only gets 0.4% of the popular vote, and they're overperforming by almost 11 points here. So what this indicates is this is not a race between three candidates. This is a race between Rainbow Dash and Lenard Kim. It really comes down to character quality is what it comes down to. So Rainbow Dash, I'm not trying to insult you. I know you said you had all your policy down, and I'm just saying yes, you do. But I feel like there's so much more that you can offer. And I feel like the things that you're saying are the same thing that every Democrat spits out. There's no uniqueness in your campaign or your ability to campaign when it comes to your policies. I'm not trying to critique you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable or like that. I hate you. I don't. But as somebody who's reporting, I am basically saying that I feel like your policies need to be more unique. That's all that I'm saying. And no, you cannot say that because you can't have that. You can't have that here. You can't be saying that. Because this is the only server channel that's doing this. So you cannot try and destroy the server's image just because you don't like what I'm saying. Oh, wait, are you back yet?
Yeah, I killed the bug.
Okay. So I typed out Rainbow Dash because Rainbow Dash was spitting information that was negative towards the channel because of comments that we're making and critiquing her campaign. We are critiquing every candidate campaign. We critique Lenard Kim. We can critique a bunch of candidates, even Louisa Meyer's campaign. We critique Lenard Kim's campaign. But when it comes to anything, when you critique another person's campaign, they seem to be okay with it until the criticism on their campaign. Do you think what I did today was giving her a temporary timeout was the right thing to do here.
I think it was the right thing to do today, and because saying that the thing is wrong. You should not be saying
Yeah,
what she's
exactly. You shouldn't have to say that because we're doing this. We're taking time out of our day to make an event like this to make it fun and more interactive sort of experience. We can't have people trying to tear down this channel just because they don't like something that me and you say. If they have something to say, they can join the live stream and speak
yeah.
for themselves. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like Rainbow
Yes,
Dash, the
I
link
am totally agree.
during this live stream, they choose not to. That's on them. You know what I mean? So anyway,
Yeah,
let's
I agree.
okay. We have the Delaware results out. Who do you think is going to win the state of Delaware?
Dash.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dash is going to win Delaware. I think about 60-40. What I'm looking at.
Leo just needs to win New York.
Yeah. Okay, so we can make a projection in the state of Delaware tonight that Rainbow Dash will win Delaware by 63.6% of the popular vote, with 13 delegates. Illinois came at 27.3% with 6 delegates. So what is your response to this?
Well, it's Delaware, so it's kind of expected. The small states and like the states on the, I I think it kind of makes sense that Delaware went for Dash, as it's a more left but not far right state. I mean far left state, so it's not too much left, but it's still left. So that could
Mm-hmm.
be a reason, or just the people went out and voted for Dash. But there was still a lot of people who voted for the Leo.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of
But
people
the
are
only
voting
chance
for
that
Leo,
Leo
but I
has
don't
of
think
winning,
Leo's turnout is getting out there. People are not turning out for um, the Lennar Kim campaign. You know what I mean? What I'm going to do is I'm going to
I
have you
think.
temporarily pull up your screen. You're going to take over, and just for a minute, I just need to be able. I need to be able to unban Rainbow Dash. I don't know why Rainbow Dash was banned. I hit timeout for some reason. The stream unbanned her. Okay, so it says
Okay.
Rainbow Dash is back. So let's see if Rainbow Dash is back here. So let's see. Can you message? Actually, I'll message Rainbow Dash. You continue.
Okay. So basically, Leo needs to win his home state by a good margin, at least almost 60%, right? Because that would help him so much in delegate wise, and probably would kept him in the race and help him slowly start winning. And if Leo is winning, the only chance he has of winning is winning his home state. Like you need to at least win your home state. It will be sad if you lose your home state,
Oh, absolutely. I agree with
like
you.
Clinton did.
100%.
I think Leo will get into the millions of votes in New York, the highest turnout in the city and upstate. I really believe that. I think it would
You
be
think
a very very landslide for Leo.
so? You think that Leo's gonna win New York tonight?
Yes.
I feel that. I think he might. That might be his only big win tonight. And if he does that, that's a big upset because it basically erases all the gains that Rainbow Dash had tonight. If Leonard Kim wins the state of New York, but if there's a scenario where Rainbow Dash wins the state of New York, it's basically over. You know what I mean?
Uh.
It's,
Yeah.
why are you talking like that?
Well, I think it's most now likely Dash is gonna win
Oh
because
look! Look what's up, New York. New York is the next one.
sh-
We only have 3 more
that
states left.
ooh I don't
That's
now. I
200.
don't think Leo will win 1,000,000 votes.
That's
I,
1 million. What makes you think that?
no, because New York has higher turnout. With the results on the thing, not
Yeah.
real life. There's no 1,000,000 people in the Seoul. I'm talking about like the screen results. I don't think he's gonna reach 1,000,000. Maybe close, but not too close.
Yeah, right. So, sorry, I was texting Rainbow Dash. I just told him I'll talk to him later. Um, yeah, so I think it's going to be really interesting to see who wins New York because New York alone had 260. Hold on, yeah, 268 delegates. You have Rhode Island, who had an outstanding of 26 delegates, and Wisconsin at 82 delegates. When you look at the margin here, right, and look at the deficit between the two top candidates, you have 1,439 delegates going to Rainbow Dash, and Lenore Kim at 1,224. When I plug that in, right, let's do the quick margin here. Let's see the deficit between the two. 439 minus 224. That's a difference of only 215 delegates, which means that if Lenore Kim wins the state of New York, right, that would essentially put Lenore Kim back on top on the lead for first time taking the lead if he wins all of New York delegates tonight. Which I don't think it's going to be theoretically possible because I think if I recall correctly, New York goes based on proportional, which in that case, New York primary result would be, much lopsided for the candidate who wins the popular vote. But whoever comes second place will win a second portion of that bash. So I don't think Lenore Kim's going to win all of it, but I think that Lenore Kim will narrow the margin with the state of New York. I think he also needs to carry maybe like a Wisconsin to really make that deficit narrow because usually Rhode Island and Wisconsin can go to Rainbow Dash, and that could basically put it right back in the lead again. You know what I mean? So New York is not the end all for Rainbow Dash campaign. However, it would be helpful for Rainbow Dash to have that state. However, it's an essential state for the Lenore Kim campaign. Lenore Kim needs to carry New York tonight.
What if Leo loses New York? Does he still have a pathway in the next couple primaries?
Yeah. So
So it's not all oval.
we have a result actually now coming out of New York. So hold
Oh,
on. The thing's lagging, so give me 1 second. I do apologize.
this is gonna be bad. Why? I think God just never wants me to be happy. So I think. Oh,
Oh, okay. So out of the state of New York, Rainbow Dash wins New York with 59.3% of the popular vote, winning 177 delegates. To the North Kim, 29.6%, winning 89 delegates, and Teddy Roosevelt winning um 11.1%, winning 2 delegates. I think this is a shocker for the Teddy Roosevelt campaign. He gained another 2 delegates out of this state. However, Rainbow Dash definitely got her supporters out, and it made the difference in New York.
um, craziest results.
What?
I think it's the craziest results out of the primary.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think that was so lopsided for the Dash campaign. I don't know. I honestly expected it to be easier. I expected it to be for the Illinois Kim campaign. I expected this to be the state that he wins tonight, but it doesn't look like that's the case. So while we're waiting for the results here, let's do the keys. Let's do the key to the White House, and this is important. We obviously know the last time we spoke, we talked about the midterm was a definite gain. They gained more seats than they did in the previous midterm and the previous election. Yes, they gained seats there in the first key. We have no primary contest. That is 100% false because the Democrats do have um, Well, that is certain. That is a 100% certainty that Lenore Kim and Rainbow Dash have competition in the primary, right? So there's competition now. The incumbent is seeking re-election. We can say that for sure. The incumbent president is term limited. We have key number 4, no third party. That is also false. But as of right now, we're going to put that in the likely column because James Goodell could drop out of the race from now up until the general election. That is likely, but that is also another false. We have key number 5, a strong short-term economy. I would say that's almost likely. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's likely. Yeah.
Standing for the strong long-term economy. That is also certainty. I think that's also going to go to the true campaign for the Democrat campaign. The blue indicates Democrat victory, red indicates a Republican victory. We have key number 7, major policy change from the current administration. That is false because the major policy change, the person who's winning in office right now, the major policy change is in power, which means that the Democrats lose this key. Oh, hold on, actually they had that key because it was a major policy change from the previous administration. However, in 2028, because the Democrats cannot run on a major policy change because the incumbent party is in power right now. So that goes towards the Republican for certainty. No social unrest. I would say that's almost likely. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. No scandal of the incumbent party president or the candidates running. Does Rainbow Dash have any scandal? Does Lenore Kim have any scandal? I would say that likely, no. I mean, likely, no. Yeah, they have no scandal. No foreign or military failure by the incumbent party. Likely. I would say that's likely. We had the success with the aliens. We had success with the Somalia pirates, stuff like that. We had success with Norwackle and a whole bunch of other areas of the Discord server. I would say that it's likely. It's not solid with certainty because that can change from now up until election day. Major foreign and military success. I would say yeah, because if you look at it from this perspective, we have foreign military success when it comes to the Somalia pirates, but then you also look at the attempted assassination of the incumbent president, with them making an alliance with the alien, and then the anti-alien group decided to frame the aliens by trying to sabotage any sort of relation that the humans could have with aliens. So I would probably put that in the likely column. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree with that. It should be likely true.
Okay, the incumbent, key 11, a charismatic incumbent. The incumbent is not in office, so there is no incumbent. But, yeah, actually, that is certain. There is no incumbent there. You cannot change that key. That's 100% certainty. They lose that key. Okay, there's no FDR-style candidate. Rainbow Dash is not FDR. Neither is Lenore Kim. Lenore Kim could be comparable to like Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, whereas Rainbow Dash could be more comparable to like maybe like a Bill Clinton or even like a Jimmy Carter style candidate. You know what I mean? Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. I agree with the Leo comparison and a bit with the Dash comparison.
What would you compare Dash to? Out of all the Democratic candidates or presidents, who do you think they're the most comparable to?
Well, I think it's maybe Bill Clinton.
What?
And I don't know Bill Clinton. I don't know the other one, but I know like Bill Clinton.
Jimmy Carter, I said.
Yeah, you could say Jimmy Carter.
Right. Because we have here key 13, uncharismatic challenger. It's Louis Amaya or James Goodell charismatic. It's very hard because like Louis Amaya, when you look at the polling data, he's not doing so well in the polls either. You mean he doesn't have a coalescence around with Democrat and Republican support and even independent support to coalesce around that base. He's really dependent on how much James Goodell could take away from the Democrat support and what that will give him the victory. But I don't see that having sweeping victories. So I don't even know if I would classify Louis Amaya as a charismatic challenger And I don't know if I would even characterize James Adele as a charismatic challenger. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Okay. So we're going to put that as a likely, because that could change from now until the election. Actually, we'll put this lean. Okay, so now we can make a projection here that the election is going to be extremely close. It comes down to one key, and that one key that will make the determination of who will become president will be two factors. There being no third party, which will benefit the Democrats. It benefits the Republicans by having James Adele on the ticket. Then the other one is uncharismatic challenger that benefits the Democrats. All the Republicans need to do is make Lewis and Maya appear more charismatic, and they win the White House. Just by flipping one key, the Democrats can win every other key, and Lewis and Maya win the presidency just by becoming charismatic nationwide. That's really all it takes. So we can make a projection here that as of right now, whoever is the Democratic nominee who's most likely going to be Rainbow Dash, they're going to win by a very narrow margin. It's probably going to be 320 to 270. But they will win the presidency and the popular vote as of right now. But Lewis and Maya, it's not far behind. I would probably say Lewis and Maya will most likely be extremely competitive against Rainbow Dash. This is going to be a hotly contested race. You probably won't even know who the winner will be until the last state is called.
Yeah, I agree. And Leo said another state results.
Yes, Rhode Island. I saw that. I just wanted to finish what I was saying.
I know.
Okay, so let's go to Rhode Island state. I think Lenard Kim's going to win that state just because it's little. Okay, never mind that. I take that back.
No.
Okay, so Rhode Island, Rainbow Dash wins that with 56.3% of the popular vote winning 16 delegates to Lenard Kim, 37.5% winning 10 delegates out of the state of Rhode Island. That's not a surprise, definitely not a shocker. Uncommitted ended up taking 6.2% of the popular vote here. The Republicans were trying to lift Teddy Roosevelt. It doesn't seem like it's working. They decided to abandon the Lenard Kim campaign in favor of supporting uncommitted or Teddy Roosevelt, most likely. Because if you look at the polls here, when they're open data, Lenard Kim is falling down when it comes to the popular vote margin, which tells us when it comes to open primaries, Republicans are no longer backing the Lenard Kim campaign and hope that they could somehow prop up Teddy Roosevelt, which is a little strange, or even prop up uncommitted when it is a viable option, because they want to stop Rainbow Dash from becoming the Democratic nominee, because they know that in the head-to-head mashup, Rainbow Dash is ahead in terms of the polling data by 7 points. So let's take a look at the general election polling data. Okay, so in the most updated polling data, let's see if Leo updated that. Okay, we have to update it margin now. We have Rainbow Dash in the most recent polling data in the head-to-head mashup against Lewis and Maya. Rainbow Dash takes 50% of the popular vote, to 38% going to Lewis and Maya, and James Adele only taking 12% of the popular vote. When averaged out, Rainbow Dash wins 45% of the popular vote to 37.5% to Lewis and Maya, and 17.3% going to James Adele. When the predicted electoral college margin based on the electoral college, Rainbow Dash wins with 224 electoral votes with 397 electoral votes by the highest margin, when compared to Lewis and Maya at 141 to 311 in electoral college margin that they may win. And then when it comes to James Adele, he may win to 0 to 3 electoral votes. In the head-to-head mashup where Lewis and Maya is up against Lenard Kim, the Democratic nominee, just say he was ahead right now, which he's not. This is going to be one of those scenarios where it's only going to be Rainbow Dash versus Lewis and Maya and James Adele with a 12-point margin for Rainbow Dash here. We have Lewis and Maya taking that lead with only 4% of the popular vote. You have here in the most recent polling data, 41% going to Lewis and Maya, 45% going to Lenard Kim, and 14% going to James Adele. Based on what I'm seeing here, that actually this is the first time that Lenard Kim takes the lead over Lewis and Meyer. It looks like there's an error on Leo's part over here. But when it averages out, 41.2% going to Lewis and Meyer's campaign, with 35.7% going to Lenard Kim and 19.5% going to James Adele. With Lewis and Meyer gaining between 326 electoral votes to 424 electoral votes in the highest projected margin. You have Lenard Kim at 114 electoral votes to 211 electoral votes, to James Adele 0 to 3 electoral votes. When you look at this, the best case for Republicans to win back the White House was the vice president as the front runner. But however, they are aiding the downfall by basically giving Rainbow Dash the nomination. What are your opinion on this, Owen?
Well, I think Republicans all now after this we're gonna actually vote Leo in open primaries because now they know it's basically impossible to nominate Teddy or uncommitted with open primaries, you know?
But it
So
doesn't
that
make a difference at this point. It doesn't make a difference. I don't think Leo can make up the margin with all the rest of the states.
I think he can. It's really the voters' decision.
Okay, so let's take a look. Let's see how many outstanding delegates are out right now. Let's see. Let's see how many delegates are remaining. Out of the remaining delegates, 78% of the delegates are already counted, with 3,059 delegates out of 3,934 delegates. So really, technically, there's an outstanding delegate balance of less than 900 delegates. So technically, you are right. It would be a margin. Leo basically needs to win every other state. I don't think Leo's going to win every other state because Rainbow Dash is going to make that impossible for the Lenard Kim campaign to make up the margin here.
Well, anything's possible, of course.
Yeah, anything is possible, but at this point in time, Tina will project that Rainbow Dash is going to become the presumptive nominee. I don't think there's a pathway for the Kim campaign to win every state. I think the Lenard Kim campaign should stay in the race just for name recognition, but they already indicated they do not plan to run next election. So staying in the race will just basically be meaningless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I still think they should stay in the race. Just it's going to be close.
But having the Democratic Party, divided, voting for Lenard Kim versus Rainbow Dash, that would help and aid the Republican Party because the Republican Party was able to unify around a candidate. The Democrats are still not able to unify around their candidate. Lenard Kim campaign has already made it very known to Rainbow Dash that they plan to back and fully endorse the Rainbow Dash campaign. However, Rainbow Dash cannot say the same for Lenard Kim. She has made it abundantly clear that she said she will plan to get her supporters to go down to the Capitol and raid the Congress. I don't know if that's a joke, but that's what was said in the server. So, as of right now, the Lenard Kim campaign does not have the support of the Rainbow Dash campaign the same way that the Lenard Kim campaign supports Rainbow Dash no matter what. And that's a telltale sign of character. What do you say to that?
Well, actually, we have breaking news though.
I know we have
breaking news.
Oh, well, I guess you're not going to answer my question.
I'm gonna forget the question because I was.
Forget it.
I got pinged and I was
We'll move on. We'll move on. Okay, we have the last state of the night. Yeah, I think it's the last state of the night. Yeah, Wisconsin. We can now project that Wisconsin goes to Rainbow Dash with 57.7% of the popular vote, with 49 delegates going to Rainbow Dash. Lenard Kim at 38.5%, with 33 delegates going to Lenore Kim and 3.8% going to uncommitted. It is clear tonight that we can project that Rainbow Dash has swept every race in the primary so far. Rainbow Dash is only 300 delegates on her way to becoming the Democratic nominee. It is still too close to call. Lenore Kim will need to win every other state. Rainbow Dash only needs to win a few. I think if Robert Flores was to stay in the race, I definitely think that there would have been a scenario or an outcome where Rainbow Dash wouldn't have had the lopsided margin that she has at the moment. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think
and
that this
can I
election
say
cycle was
the
what?
Leo said in comments. Look.
Why do you keep? Okay, so we can make the official project. Thank you. We can now make the official projection that Leo Perot had dropped out of the campaign race. So I guess as of right now, can we make? Are we making Rainbow Dash the presumptive Democratic nominee, or that not official yet? So we can project that the Lenore Kim campaign has dropped out of the Democratic primary. What's going to be interesting to see is what does Lenore Kim does with his delegates. Does he give it to another candidate? Does he give it to Rainbow Dash in solidarity to give them the nomination outright and just end this debacle, or will he make Rainbow Dash fight for it? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, most likely it will just be Dash winning, but the funny thing could happen. Leo could give. Well, Leo just said I'm keeping my delegates, but if Leo gave away his delegates
To the uncommitted
to like
option?
uncommitted, that would be funny.
Yeah, it would be funny, but I don't think it would be a good idea. And here's why. When you do something funny like that and do something kind of stupid, you're basically dividing the Democratic Party for no reason other than aiding and abetting the Republicans. This is what the Republicans want. They want a divided Democratic Party. Because Lenore Kim decided to drop out, essentially handing Rainbow Dash the nomination. Rainbow Dash is the nominee. Whether you like it or not, Rainbow Dash is the nominee. There's no competition. There's no way that Teddy Roosevelt will be able to get, and be able to catch to Rainbow Dash. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt will be able to make up the delegate count. Maybe we'll come in third. But he will be nowhere near Rainbow Dash and Lenore Kim. Nowhere near. I think that is a testament tonight to this is a great night for the Rainbow Dash campaign. Rainbow Dash is the presumptive Democratic nominee. So we can make that determination. I'm going to call it now. Rainbow Dash is the official Democratic nominee for President of the United States. We can now make that projection. So we're going to go with that. Even though everybody else is still voting, you can feel free to express your democracy and to keep on voting in the primary result. However, there is no more to vote for. Rainbow Dash is the presumptive Democratic nominee. So I'm going to make that projection here. So, all right. Thank you guys for all coming. Just we want to make sure we want to make this known because Rainbow Dash just stated us before we do end the live that that they've been voting for Leo in the poll and will support Leo as the presumptive nominee if they were to become the nominee, which we know tonight that is not happening. So thank you and have a great night, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you in the general election. Bye, guys.